Hey everyone, it's John here from Hockey, back with another video, and this video is going to be about the Vancouver Canucks and why I believe they can contend for the Stanley Cup. I currently see the Canucks as a dark horse. I think they are being overlooked. I think they're a team that strives off momentum, and if they can advance past the Minnesota Wild, I think they're going to be a very dangerous team. I'm going to go over the reasoning on why I believe they can contend for the Stanley Cup, and just the overall statement why the Vancouver Canucks will win the Stanley Cup. I believe there's many of you out there that believe that, and I'm going to go over some reasons and some aspects and some X factors on how that can happen. So if you are new to the channel, please subscribe, smash that like button, and leave your thoughts on the Vancouver Canucks and this playoffs in the comments section. So let's get right into it, not going to waste any time, starting with, I think, the obvious X factor to this series, which is Jacob Markstrom. If you look at the Wild, they don't have that number one goalie. They don't have that for sure. And if you're looking at the entire playoffs, Markstrom, for me, is 100% a top 10 goalie, arguably maybe a top 5 in terms of this season. If not for Markstrom's injury issues, Markstrom could have very well been in that top 3 for the Vezina, right there with Rask and Hellebuck. Maybe that's a hot take to some people, but I think Markstrom's impact to the Vancouver Canucks this season was insane. A .918 save percentage. I think for a Canucks team that defensively had many moments where they struggled, I think Markstrom was always that solid aspect to their team. And I really believe if Markstrom can be, like I said, a top 5 or top 10 goalie in these playoffs, top 5 in around there, and be that impactful goaltender, I really think the Canucks can go far. And I just want to say that right off the bat. Markstrom, he's a UFA, and he has something to prove, and he has these playoffs to prove that he can get a big payday, and he deserves to be that number one franchise goaltender. And while he's already older, we're talking about a guy that's entering his 30s, I do believe he's a guy that is a number one goalie. So we'll see what he can do, but he is obviously, for me, the number one X factor for the Canucks, but there's other aspects. Brock Boeser, I would say he's up there. In terms of the trade rumors that got leaked, and then you're talking about Benning coming out saying it's just not true, and then the players joking around as Boeser's mic'd up saying, yo, you're going to get traded. Like, this is a guy that struggled with injuries and now comes in fresh, comes in healthy into the playoffs, and can prove something. A guy that I believe can be a 30-goal scorer in this league. And he has the opportunity to come into a series, a defensively sound team in the Minnesota Wild, and moving forward past that, hopefully, for the Vancouver Canucks. And Boeser could be maybe not the main scorer, but he's a guy that can be a huge impact player for the Vancouver Canucks. Secondary scoring. I'm going to get into the top heavy, get into the power play for the Canucks, but secondary scoring and secondary impact for the Canucks is going to be huge here. Because while I already think that guys like Gaudette and guys like Pearson are going to play well, there's other players that we really don't know. We really don't know what kind of Jake Virtanen we're going to get. We don't really know what kind of Roussel we're going to get. There are guys like, again, Ferland, Levo, not healthy. A guy like Jay Beagle, who can come into the playoffs. He has that experience, that past experience with the Caps. So Beagle could be a huge aspect for this team. Zach McEwen, that I would say grit, obviously that energy. So there's question marks here. I think Virtanen, for me, is up on that list for a guy that needs to prove himself, for a guy that, has been so inconsistent. He's had so many comments around him, so many questions surrounding him, that now coming in fresh into the playoffs, I think that's where you look at him and you look at that potential line. I don't know if the line's going to be Roussel, Virtanen, Gaudette, who's going to consist on that third line, but I do believe the secondary scoring and the secondary presence needs to be there for the Canucks. And the power play, the top-heavy offense, the top-heavy, I would just say, players for the Canucks. And they were a top 5 power play this past season. And you're talking about Horvat, the leader, the captain of this team. Elias Pettersson. I don't think there's a question mark here for Pettersson. Like, we're talking about a rising star. He's so young, and he's already looking so mature. On top of Boeser, I just talked about JT Miller. If he can continue what he's been doing with this team of this season, I think you're getting an insane power play again with the Canucks, led by Quinn Hughes. And that's the huge question mark for me, besides Quinn Hughes and Tanev, who for me could be that very significant pairing for the Canucks 5-on-5. Quinn Hughes, Tanev, they complement each other very well. Outside of that, what kind of defenseman are we getting? What kind of Tyler Myers are we getting? Are we getting a giveaway machine who can't use his physical nature to advantage? What kind of Alex Edler are we getting? Is that experience going to come to an advantage? And for me, a big one is Troy Stecher. What Troy Stecher are we going to see? Troy Stecher, who we don't even know if the Canucks are going to give him a qualifying offer. We don't know what kind of player we're getting from Troy Stecher and what kind of role he'll be playing. Troy Stecher, for me, is actually very underrated. He brings offensive upside. He can hold his own in a lot of situations. He's very undersized. And you know what? Sometimes in that 4 or 5 role, he plays very well for the Canucks. But what kind of defense group are we getting from the Canucks? For me, I think we should expect a great Markstrom. I think hopefully you're going to get a solid Markstrom. That top-heavy offense should be there. And like I said, while there's some question marks in the secondary scoring, I think the defense, especially leading off against a defensive strong team in the Minnesota Wild, can the Canucks somewhat step up and bring the defense? Because we already know that offense is there. We already know the goaltending is most likely there. And you have Demko to back up Markstrom. So the defense. And outside of Tanev and Quinn Hughes, for me, what are the pairings going to look like? That's a question mark. And if Quinn Hughes can continue what he's doing, and if Tanev can stay healthy, I like that pairing a lot going into the playoffs. But outside of that, who's going to step up? Is it Stecher? Is it Myers? Can we see some good play from Myers? A lot of people are worried about that contract right now. And then Edler, who's been with this team for so long, can he bring that experience? So let me know what you guys think. Please subscribe if you're new. Smash the like button. I do believe the Canucks are a big dark horse. I think if everything I kind of listed continues for the Canucks, I think they can go on a run. As I said, they're young. They strive off momentum. You come out of that play-in round series against the Minnesota Wild, and you face a team that might be a little bit on their heels, I think the Canucks could be a very big surprise team, and like I said, a big dark horse team. And in terms of people that are saying the Canucks are going to win the Stanley Cup or why they're going to win the Stanley Cup, these are some of the reasons, these are some of the aspects. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on the channel more. Like I said, smash the like button, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. This was John from RPO Hockey. Have a good one. Peace out.